All right, welcome back to part 2 of the sick version of Take What You Can. And I don't like my dad. This is why I don't like my dad. So I told my wife not to start Joe Burrow. And because he's playing the Steelers, and we all know how the Steelers defense typically does. And because she didn't start Joe Burrow, she lost in fantasy. And I woke up this morning at 9:30 from a text from my dad said, "I'll be waiting for the podcast on giving your wife awful fantasy football advice." And I just want you to know, Dad, even though I know you don't listen ever, but yeah, I hope you're listening now. You suck. You really suck. And I'm better looking than you. So please like and share. If you are better looking than your father, I will like and share every episode I have because it's obvious. Feel free to follow me on X, TWYCF on X. Take What You Can Football on X. All right, let's jump into it. Again, we're sponsored by Dayquil. Just kidding. I wish. Actually, I would never take money from Big Pharma. No, thank you. Let's see here. What do we got in the news? So, Hunter Biden was pardoned. And it's an interesting conversation or debate. A lot of times I see on both sides of the aisle here the argument of, okay, well, he said he wouldn't do it, and then he does it. And then there's the argument, well, it's my son. It's my only living son. Also, I don't know about you guys, but there is a moral standard created by God that trumps family. No pun intended. It trumps family. And I believe that and I think this is a perfect example of why Hunter Biden is the person that he is. Obviously, with the addiction issues, the money laundering allegedly issues, just a lot of problems. And the reason being is because Daddy comes and saves the day every single time. He evades responsibility, and he's done it again. And if you are a parent that truly cares about the well-being of your child, you understand that discipline and responsibility for your actions are very important. So, obviously, with the alleged business deals that go on with Joe Biden and Ukraine and Hunter Biden, I think at the end of the day, I think this is really just to save himself. Unfortunately, this family seems to have a lot of issues. But, yeah, I think at the end of the day, this is what happens when you don't hold your son accountable or show your kids what taking responsibility for your actions looks like. Is it fun to go to jail? No. Should he go to jail or prison? Probably. He probably should. And, there's been a lot of talk about, my son, my little boy, Hunter Biden, this and that, right? But how old is Hunter Biden? This man is 54 years old. And he's being talked about like he's a little boy. Like, oh, poor little Hunter, he can do no wrong, this and that. Like, dude's 54 years old. He's been married twice. Like, this is a grown man. A grown man who's educated. Now, you can argue how educated he actually is, like, in his brain. You can argue that, but he went to Georgetown and he went to Yale Law School. Probably because his dad is a senator or was a senator. But this man's technically an attorney. He is more than capable of taking responsibilities for his own actions. And he's more than capable of knowing that his actions were illegal. So to sit here and act like he's some little boy, some 20-year-old who just made a mistake, we're far from that. We are decades. We're a fourth of a century away from that. If I did even a fraction of what Hunter Biden has done, I would be in prison. And for those, like, I understand the quandary, right? I understand those who mention, the fact that it's his son. I get the moral predicament, right? But the right answer, the moral right answer, God's moral answer is, as the parent, it's your job to discipline your children, right? And for him to do this is just typical, enabling parents. It's not any different than the family down the street that does it with their kid, their spoiled kid. It's just at a huge level. But no, it's the wrong thing to do as a parent, and it's definitely the wrong thing to do as the president. But it seems like he's just trying to cover for himself, Joe Biden, allegedly. But we will see. We will see how it pans out. I just thought it was kind of ridiculous on all levels because, the man said he wasn't going to pardon him over and over again. I think it was mainly because he didn't think Kamala or himself was going to lose. But here we are. Here we are. So, kind of moving into the NFL. What do we got in NFL news today? So, I'm recording this on a Tuesday. This will be out on a Wednesday. Oh, this is a great topic. Azeez Shaair. 3 games for the hit. Now, okay. Well, all right. I'm on Yahoo Sports here, written by Jason Owens. So they've suspended him 3 games. NFL Vice President of Football Operations John Runyon issued the suspension. In the NFL's public announcement, Runyon says Shaair delivered a forceful blow to the head-neck area when you had time and space to avoid such contact. Runyon then broke down Shaair's actions after the hit, engaging in a brawl, escalating the brawl by pulling a player down by the face mask and continuing to fight with Jags players in the end zone after the referee had delivered the ejection call. Okay. All right, that makes it a little more understandable. Let's see. I want to see it again here. I want to see the full clip. Okay, let's see. Okay, we got the full clip up here. Trevor Lawrence rolls to the left, starts running. Dude's got like a good 5 yards and gives him a hit. Immediately, Evan Ingram pushes him in the back. A brawl ensues. Shaair, oh wow, yeah. Okay, I didn't even see that. Because if it's just the hit, 3 games is ridiculous. Like, absolutely ridiculous. Maybe 1 game, maybe a fine. It was pretty egregious. But when are players going to learn? It's all about the head hitting, or not players. When is the NFL going to learn the concussions are coming from hitting their head on the turf? Not on grass, on the turf. And they can say all they want that it's, that the statistics are the same, but I don't believe them. That's just my opinion. I don't believe them. I think it has a lot more to do with the fact that they don't want to pay for it. I really do. And yeah, okay, the face mask pulling, the brawl, okay. I think the backlash had a lot more to do with it. 3 games is a lot. A lot. Yeah. Yikes. Yeah, I mean 3 games I believe is a lot. I hope Trevor Lawrence is okay. Let's see how he's doing. Shares update after scary hit. According to US Magazine, Us Magazine, whatever you want to call it. Wow, I'm stupid. Thank you to everyone who's reached out / been praying for me. I'm home and feeling better. It means a lot. Thank you. Yeah, the whole pointing and and the stiffness, that gets scary after a hit like that. I used to see hits or reactions to hits like that all the time as a kid, and you don't see them very often. But yeah, it's basically like they're having a mini brain aneurysm on the field. But I'm also of the thought that the science, we've known about the science long enough where we know that this is a possibility. And if you choose to play this game, yes, we can make small rules, but we're not going to get rid of this game. Like, if you want to not play the game, that's fine. But to get rid of it or turn it into flag football is just ludicrous. Because the minute you turn it into flag football, the minute football is just done. It's not going to be nearly what the sport ever will be. You're going to take away linemen as much as you want to do it. I've said it a few times, I believe. When EA Sports approached John Madden about making a football game, they wanted to make it a 7-on-7 football game, and he said no. If people are going to play this game, I want it to be educational, and I want people to learn. So we are going to make it 11-on-11. You have to have linemen in a football game, and that's what it is. And now the entirety of America and young men out there and even older men know a lot more about football than the average person because of Madden, including myself. So we'll see. Other news, martial law declared in South Korea. Huh. Does this have anything to do with North Korea? They start storming parliament after martial law is declared. Why? Okay, I'm pulling up South Korea on X here. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Huh. So I'm just so confused. Okay, summary of events in North Korea. Thank God. Can somebody tell me what's going on? Okay, number 1, the president of... this is according to my Lord Bebo on X. So, I don't know. I mean, they have over like 500,000 followers, so we'll try to take it for what it's worth. We'll try to take what we can. Okay, number 1, the president of South Korea expected an impeachment from the opposition. To prevent that, he declared martial law, banning all political activity. Yikes. The Korean army came and closed off the parliament to prevent MPs, to come in and vote. Wow. Yikes. Korean MPs, I don't even know what MPs are, climbed over the fence and made their way to Parliament, breaching the block. Special forces tried to storm the Parliament to stop the political activity. Wow. In order to stop being impeached, the dude declared martial law? Holy cow. This is like what Democrats are afraid Trump would do. Wow. Okay. Special forces tried to storm. Okay, I already said that. The Parliament was able to vote, and they voted unanimously to lift the martial law and lift all restrictions. Okay. That's probably a good thing. The army not know what to do first, decided to abide by the Parliament and left. Martial law will remain in place in South Korea until the president issues a decree to lift it. The president is constitutionally obliged to lift martial law after a decision by Parliament. I think they meant obligated. The South Korean president is expected to be arrested and impeached, according to media reports. The opposition and the people won by sneaking into Parliament and voting. Okay. Yeah, someone was like, which side are the good guys? I don't know. I don't get what's going on. That's so interesting. I don't know. Let's look more into it. South Korea. What is happening in South Korea? No, they posted a GIF of Kim Jong-un looking through binoculars. That's so funny. I'm so confused at what's going on. Okay, well, so it seems like the South Korean government tried to overthrow its people, or the president. That's crazy. Yeah, a lot of governments around the world are dealing with this kind of stuff lately. It's kind of crazy. Wow. Texans GM Nick Caserio ripped the league for its characterization of linebacker Azeez Shaair, calling it unfair, embarrassing, and bull blank. Caserio says the NFL is not consistent with their suspensions, and he provided examples to back his claims. Yeah, I mean, when the NFL has always been this way. They've been this way since Ray Rice, since before then. It's all about how people react. They don't care about actual, like, a moral standard and what they set. It's about how people react. That's really what it's about. Like Ray Rice, for example. I was in public speaking in high school when Ray Rice punched his fiance on the video. So from what I remember, this is my recollection of it. They gave him okay. Let's see here. Hold on. Ray Rice original suspension. Okay, yeah. 2 games. Yeah. So basically what had happened, I want to see how much they actually gave him. Yeah, okay. Yeah. No, not good. So for those of you who are like young enough who don't remember, basically what happened is Ray Rice punched his girlfriend at the time. They are now married. They've reconciled, which good for her, good for them. You know, forgiveness, obviously it's an ugly thing, But if they actually have a happy and healthy marriage and things are good for them. Basically what happened is, I believe they were at a hotel or a casino. They were visibly seemed drunk. They were arguing. His girlfriend or fiance at the time spit in his face in the elevator. And so he knocked her out with like a right hook or a left hook clean. She was totally knocked out. He tried to like pick her up and like pulled her out of the elevator basically. Okay, not great, obviously. But here's the problem. This is why I'm bringing it up. The problem with the NFL. The reason it's a problem is because Ray Rice went to Commissioner Goodell, told him what he had done, did not lie, was fully transparent about what had happened, and the NFL gave him a 2-game suspension. Right? And this was in July. Then the video comes out, and it blows up. Huge issue in the media. And then what the NFL tries to do in September, so 2 months later, they try to indefinitely suspend him, right? He appeals in November, and he won his appeal because basically you can't just repeal the suspension just off of backlash. They tried to just because of the reaction. He didn't do anything different. The video showed that he did everything that he said he did. He did not lie. He did not change his story. He did absolutely everything that he said he did. And then because the video came out in the backlash, they decided to change his suspension, and he repealed it. Unfortunately, he never really played again. He was a really talented running back, but he was like issue number 1 in all of mainstream media when it came to sports. So, yeah, it's really unfortunate because, I mean, you can't really expect big corporations in any way to be the leader of moral high ground or the leader of morality. And if they ever claim to be, they're lying or they're doing it for some other reason. We see this with a lot of like Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan Chase, like all the woke companies. This is what they're doing nowadays. I'm just going to say allegedly. This is kind of where we're at with it. So the NFL is always going to be this way. It's always based off like, how can we appease the mob? We're never going to do the right thing. We're just going to do what seems right at the time. Sometimes that happens to be the right thing, I guess, but a lot of times it's just, how can we appease the mob? And with the Azeez Al-Shaair, gosh, I can't say that. With that hit, it was just, there was a lot of backlash. So I think, 3 games is a lot of games. A lot of games. Do I think he should have been suspended? Maybe a game, maybe. Even with all the fighting. I don't know. 3 games still seems like a lot. Those are all checks that are gone of his, and he's not like a superstar. You know, he ain't making a crazy amount of money. Let's go to Over the Cap and see what he's making. Because he's probably getting fines, too. Maybe. Houston Texans. I wish they were the Tekkens. Okay, Azeez Al-Shaair, where you at, brother? Wow, you are not very high on this list. Where are you? Wow, Robert Woods is getting paid a lot of money on this team. That's crazy. Come on, Azeez. I can't even find him. I really can't even find him. I'm just going to try to search for the player. Azeez Shaair. Okay. He signed through 2026. Okay, this year he's making 1.5 million. Next year he's making 9. The year after that he's making 11. Okay. Okay. I mean, he's making all right money, but those are big game checks, You get a certain reputation too. I mean, look what they did to Ray Rice. He won a Super Bowl. Was like a really good Pro Bowl starting running back on a Super Bowl team. See what they did to Adrian Peterson for whooping his kid. See what they did to Michael Vick for dogfighting. I mean, if you get caught at the wrong time, they basically been canceling people before canceling was a thing. And Richard Sherman's all over X just defending defenders. And I get it. Like, it is hard. It is hard. Shaair was a little... Yeah. I think you just let quarterbacks be quarterbacks. And if they want to run, then they can run. But they got to take the hit. The sliding thing shouldn't mean anything. That's kind of my personal feel about it. If you're going to run, be prepared to take hits. That's the thing, unless you run out of bounds. The out of bounds thing, that's a little more, I get that, because they're probably slowing down. You can push them into like the bench or other players and they could get hurt. That's different. If they want to run out of bounds, that's fine. But just know that if you are running, you are going to get hit in the play of field. It's football. So I think as much as people want to argue about this, the only way to fix this is if quarterbacks want to run, they are runners, man. They are runners. So we will see. We will see what happens. But okay, let's see what else we got going on. I wanted to talk about something. What did I want to talk about? I literally had an idea in my head of what we were going to talk about. Oh, I was just going to talk about prospects next. More prospects for the NFL. So we kind of realized, just like by first glance, that, maybe, just maybe, Shaair Sanders is not the guy that we think he is being told we are. Or he is. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. He is not the guy we are being told that he is. Cam Ward as well. We found that Tetero McMillan, I got to figure out how to pronounce that, is insane. Let's see who else. We got Mason Graham. That's someone that has been mentioned quite a bit. I think he's also like one of the PFF's top ranked defenders or something like that. This is the difficult thing with PFF, like ranking drafts, is because what happens is that when you have like a grading system, and it's obviously not perfect because I don't think there's anything as such a perfect grading system. Like, for example, they list Travis Hunter as a wide receiver. He's wide receiver 13 in the country, So it's kind of difficult when you see that and you see, okay, well, isn't he supposed to be the top prospect? Why is he ranked 13th? You know what I mean? Wow, they have Tetero McMillan ranked 2, Mason Graham ranked 3, Ashton Genty ranked 4. Yeah, this is going to be a skill position kind of heavy draft from what it seems, at least at the top. Let's take a look at Mason Graham. I'm going to pull him up. Starting to get in and on these prospects here. versus 2024. Okay, this is Mason Graham versus Texas. Number 55. In the trenches. Seems to be an interior defensive lineman. We'll see what kind of defense they're running here. Okay, bro, I don't need this highlight reel at the beginning of all these players. Okay, Mason Graham, defensive tackle, number 55. I don't know why I didn't expect him to be white, but he's white for what that matters. Okay, they're playing him. Okay, he can push the pocket a little bit. I think they just had him at nose for that first play. He plays some 3-tech. I believe it looks like it at least. Yeah, he really gets to the back pretty quickly here. Gets to the quarterback. Can push the pocket. He just got double teamed and fell. Okay, he's definitely lined up 3-tech right now. He's got good power and a good rip here. He can rip. Basically, what a rip is when you get one of your arms underneath the offensive lineman's arms and you're kind of ripping upward and pushing to get through them as your front shoulder's kind of turned as you're ripping one of your arms under their arm and pushing through. So he's got a good rip. Definitely has good burst off of the line, like that first burst when the ball is hiked. Oh, wow, they basically got him lined up on the... Okay, they got him lined up at DN, basically. He's running about 5-7 yards, making a tackle anyway. So he's definitely an athletic kid. He's really good at keeping his arms away from his body to really be able to shed the block at any point. Laterally, he's not the quickest defender, but for someone is like the position he plays, he's pretty quick. Wow, he's basically standing up like an outside linebacker right now. They got him everywhere on this line. Wow, he's edge rushing right now. And he's still basically almost getting there. He's definitely pushing the pocket, making him have to step up. Just nobody's there to help him in the B gap. Okay, they got it lined up over the left guard again. He's pushing the pocket well. He's obviously strong. I just have yet to see like that top 5 kind of talent. Because like Jalen Carter, Kalijah Cansey, that's kind of how I saw them. This guy just seems like he can do a lot of different things. He just seems very like well-rounded overall. He's like good at everything. But then again, we've talked. Sometimes when someone's good at everything, it's hard to tell if they're just a great player or if they're just an okay player because they don't necessarily have anything that makes them stick out. But we can still continue to watch here. He's definitely good at pushing the pocket wherever he's at. He's got that bull rush and the strength. He's playing a Texas offensive line it's Texas. They're a high-ranked team. They got to have a pretty good offensive line. I know they have a good tackle, left tackle. He definitely goes in and just messes up the play. You know, makes offensive linemen's days hard, makes it, wreak havoc a little bit, makes the play hard to run. He does get double teamed a lot. I will say that. Which obviously they respect him if they're double teaming him a lot. Yeah, they really line him up everywhere. Okay, makes a good play. Quinn Ewers tries to run up the A gap when the pocket's collapsing, and Graham just makes a good play, gets to him before he can run any further. He just seems very like he knows what his job is and he does the right thing. Good at getting his hands up, trying to bat the ball down on the screen passes. He's aware. Wow, just rips a guy away. And wow, and just bulldozes and rips through another person. Throws a guy to the ground and tries to rip through another guy. He's got some real moves, man. He's definitely got, he ain't getting pushed back very often. I'll tell you that. He ain't getting thrown backwards. He ain't really getting stood up either. He ain't getting stood up. Yeah, he really just opens things up for his linebackers really well. He does his job really well. I can see why he's considered like a top pick. There's nothing like incredibly eye-catching that even Kalijah Cansey had or Jalen Carter had. But he looks solid for sure. He looks solid in most ways. Let's see. How old is this kid? Mason Graham. Okay, he's 21. 6'3", 320. Okay. Good measurables. Oh, hold on. Wife's calling me. Gotta answer. All right, we are back. Talk with the wife went good. It's really nice to be able to just have a spouse where you can just call each other in the middle of the day, check in, see how they're doing. It's a good thing. It's definitely a blessing. Yeah, Mason Graham. I don't really know how to feel my initial reactions here because I just feel like I don't see anything incredibly spectacular, But let's take a look at some more film here. Sometimes I wonder if I just need to improve my understanding of how the defensive line works and what their roles and responsibilities are. But also at the end of the day, if you ain't uber talented, you got to have a lot of things to offer. He seems to get off balance sometimes, which obviously is going to happen, but you want them to keep his balance as much as possible. I mean, he's always pushing the pocket, really. Always pushing the pocket. He typically affects the play. Most plays that I see, he is affecting it in some sort of way. Which you can't say that about everybody. I mean, I guess you could say that about everybody, but he's having real effect on the offense's ability to run their play. Which, at the end of the day, is what defense is all about. Right? I'm making it so simplified here. I sound like an idiot, like usual. Take what you can. Oh, wow. Texas just burns them. Yeah. Again, yeah, he's really just making the right decisions a lot. And for a prospect like that, who's young, who's talented, and making a lot of the right decisions. I mean, what more can you ask for? I don't know if I'd put a top 5 grade on him, but maybe maybe a top 10. I wouldn't mind that at this point. Usually you can get a pretty good sense of a player just by watching a few games, really. You don't need to watch every single snap that they play in a season. And if you do, yeah, that's fine. But also at the same time, you might be overthinking it, you know? Oh, I forgot about Jalen Milroe. Yeah, I feel like he's better than Shaair. I don't know. He might be. Yeah, those are just initial thoughts on Mason Graham here. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. Someone I have been wanting to watch a little bit is the wide receiver from Ole Miss. Luther Burden is his name, I believe. Yeah, Luther Burden. Oh, wait, Ole Miss. Missouri, I mean. I just see the miss, and I'm like, oh, okay. Same person. Okay, we're going to watch him versus Texas A&M here. Okay, don't need to see the highlights. Okay, Luther Burden the third. He's wide receiver number 3 out of Missouri. Okay, quick off the line. Okay, just made a back shoulder catch. Very solid. Very solid. Good speed, smooth runner. Good. Yeah, I mean, he just seems like he's operating at a different speed. Bigger than I thought it would be. Pretty good after the catch. Like, he's pretty good when he's got the ball in his hands. Let's see. Okay, just burns his guy on a wheel route. I think it was a miscommunication, but hey, touchdown's a touchdown. You'll take that. Seems like he's having a lot of fun out there, too. He's kind of wide receiver you want to play with. He's just having fun, Yeah, it's just a simple pick route. Corner thinks he's got help. He doesn't. Just burned. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't really anything that Burden did. Oh, it got called back. Wow. That's crazy. At this point in the game, Texas A&M is up 23-0. That's crazy. Okay, now we've just jumped into a weird part of the game. Can we get back to the game here? Is Luther Burden just hurt? I'm so confused. Okay, it's just the play we just saw. Okay. This edit is wild. It makes no sense. He's just really mad that the play didn't come through. Okay. They're down 24-0 at this point. What's he going to do? What kind of plays is he going to make? Okay, they got the screen pass with him. He's bigger than I thought. Like I said, he's more built. He's obviously lining up in different areas. Out of the slot, on the outside. This is always good. Quarterback makes a nasty juke. Let's see, he's in the slot here. He's wide open, just running straight. They use him around, all around the field. He's in motion a lot. Okay, he's just short curl route. Okay, he's on the out route. His quarterback just missed him. I feel like I'm still not getting a great sense of what he does. Like I am, but not what his skill set is. Ooh, nasty double move. Good hands. Nasty double move, good hands. Takes a hard hit to the hip. He feels it. Wow. Yeah, good catch. Let's watch another one of Burden. Want to get a better sense of what's going on with him. Let's watch him versus Boston College. It's only like a minute and a half long, so we'll see. Definitely just has good speed. Oh, wow. Great hand-eye coordination. Good after the catch. Trying to think. He kind of reminds me of Jaden Reed, honestly. But maybe with more like wide receiver, like downfield wide receiver skill set. His ability to adjust to the ball, make catches. Route running a little more on the outside. Maybe even long speed. Wow. Really good after the catch. He just juked. He spun out a guy and broke through 3 arm tackles for a touchdown. Wow. Let's go. Great move. This is kind of like some CD Lamb stuff. Okay, they got him taking catches out of the backfield. I mean, he's turning 5-yard swing routes or out routes into 40-yard plays here. You know, this kind of guy is always going to be valuable. Always. He's always a hands catcher. He's always catching with his hands. Okay. You'll take that all day. Let's see what else we got here. Versus Texas A&M. Let's watch versus Murray State here. Sometimes with these wide receivers, you're going to have really small sample sizes. So you got to watch as many as you can. Because they only get thrown the ball so many times. That's why I like watching like whole games of offensive snaps, because you just get a sense of what they're doing even when they're not getting the ball. Wow, just really good after the catch. Just with the ball in his hands, he can make plays. Yeah, this guy's a baller. Absolute baller. Trying to think, like, compared to last year, is he better than certain people? And that doesn't always matter, because it's really about what's relative to your draft. Your grade doesn't matter for your draft, but like where you actually go. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just relative to your draft. This guy's seeming like a, middle first round kind of wide receiver here. But the problem is with a lot of middle first round wide receivers, and maybe I'll adjust my grades based off of that, but the problem with them is that nowadays there's so much talent at wide receiver that their value just falls. And there's guys who are really, really good wide receivers going in the second and third round just because the receiver class is stacked. Even the fact that Brian Thomas went late in the first round to me was crazy. But yeah, no, it's absolutely crazy. Everything is crazy. All right, let's see if we can. Let's watch one more person a little bit here. Let's watch Kelvin Banks Jr. This is what a lot of the offseason is going to be like, and we'll try to adjust if certain things would be better for you guys. But let's watch Calvin Banks Jr. versus Michigan here. That's a tall task. Despite their record, I mean, hey, they got a good defensive line all the time, even when they're not good. At least seemingly. Okay. Don't need to see the highlight reel of random players. Calvin Banks, okay, number 78 for Texas. Heard a lot about this guy. Left tackle. Definitely looks the part already. Just a big dude. Just built like an offensive tackle. Kick slide isn't bad. It's not the quickest kick slide. Okay, really weird come off the ball when they ran it here. Really weird footwork. Let's see. Don't start with the lunging, man. I don't care if it's a screen pass. There's a screen pass on the other side. The lunging, just run to him. Enough of if you see your offensive lineman lunging, just with their arms, it's not going well. Yeah, he just seems like a very, basic. He seems to be doing everything basically. I haven't seen anything super. Okay, he's holding hardcore right there. He lunges a little more for my liking. Seems hard to move. Definitely, he is a bigger tackle for sure. The run game, I'd like to see him do a little better than he is. I'd like to see him get out in space a little more. Okay, there you go. You can see his strength when he's run blocking, but you just wish the lunging would chill. Yeah, the kick slide isn't bad. It's not insanely fast, but it's not bad. I think just his build and his size and his ability to at least move somewhat is definitely a good thing. I've yet to see him give up a sack, which is a great thing, obviously. Maybe that's why he's ranked a little higher. Maybe it's not the physicals, but he really understands the mental aspect of the game. The run game, it's just I feel like he doesn't even really do much. Like he's up against a small guy and he's just barely moving him. He's definitely a better power blocker in pass than a speed rush blocker, because sometimes he gets real close to getting beat. I just don't see a lot of power. I see a little bit of quickness and a lot of anchor. I don't know if I see violent power off the line, which for a tackle isn't necessary all the time, but for someone who's considered a top 5 kind of pick in a lot of places, you'd like to see that a lot more. Okay, he got to the second level this time. You really don't see him get to the second level in the run game a lot. Okay, here we go. He definitely understands his assignments well. He definitely does. Yeah, just again, not a lot in the second level. Not a lot at all. He's just having a hard time reaching that second level with his speed and power, and maybe he's just more of a technician. I just saw him got beat by Mason Graham. It's probably the one time I've seen him get beat. Why can't I speak? It's the first time I saw him get beat, and he didn't even the quarterback didn't even get sacked. Yeah, the anchor is really what helps him. I just wonder if he's gonna struggle against speed rushers and in the run game. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting with him. I don't think he's terrible, and I don't think he'd be bad. I just certain things I'm like, okay, certain level of prospect, we're missing a few things here. I don't think he doesn't seem as good as Joe Alt. I'll say that. And I was even a little lower on Joe Alt than other people were. I still had him going high, but just for mock draft's sake and what the teams needed, but I didn't have him as high as other people. Definitely not. This might be another one, Kelvin Banks. He might be another one where it's like, okay, we are over projecting a little bit here. And then I feel like when he does get to the second level, it's kind of stumbling. You know? Like, this definitely isn't Trent Williams. I'll say that. I know not everyone is, but this definitely ain't Trent Williams. Because every time he's in run blocking, he's not just lunging for the sake of, sometimes he can lunge and still be effective. Looks like he's struggling to get to people. It really does look that way. So I find it hard to believe that there aren't better tackles in this draft. And if there aren't, I feel like it's going to be a weak tackle class. Because he may be efficient, but again, at the end of the day, we have to look at, how well does he do in certain situations. This is why you look at the film. How you try to project how can he match up against NFL type talent. It's not just about how efficient was he. I mean, the college game is completely different. They should be able to show some level of efficiency or a high level of efficiency, of course. But yeah, I mean, I just see him and I just see him struggle against pass rushers. I see him struggle in the run game. That's kind of what I'm seeing a little bit. Again, I'd like to watch 3 games. Maybe it's just Michigan. Maybe he's having an off day. But this is kind of what I'm seeing here. And I think what we're going to do in the off season when the draft actually does come, I think we'll maybe do a podcast of 2 players each maybe, or maybe just a player each of prospects. And we'll go over certain ones, and then maybe I'll just scout other ones on my own, depending on what you guys want to see or what you want to hear about, rather. And then everybody else, I'll just kind of fill in the blanks and what I think. And we won't do many mock drafts. We'll probably wait till right before the draft, the day before, to do the final mock draft. And then see where we go from there. But yeah, that's Kelvin Banks Jr. Not super impressed, but we will see. I'll have to watch more tape on him. But yeah, I mean, don't forget Jesus loves you. Don't forget that my dad is annoying. Don't forget that Hunter Biden is Hunter Bidening stuff. Yeah, Y'all have a good day. Take care.